Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to bless this council and all who are engaged in the work of local government. Grant that they may order all things in wisdom, righteousness, and peace to the honor of thy name and the good of thy people who dwell in this city forever. Amen. Amen. Fellow councillors, management, and our esteemed guests, we welcome you to our 3,380th council meeting. At this juncture, may you allow me to call upon the town clerk to pose the legal question of the day.
Thank you, Worship. Councillors of the city of Bulawayo, the management, esteemed stakeholders, and indeed the ladies and gentlemen of the meeting. The legal question being confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 6th of March, attached as Annexure A, pages A to S. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you so much. What does the House say? Sign. Thank you so much. We then move to our next annexure, which is Annexure B, Future Water and Action Committee.
Fellow councillors, Your Worship, Public and Management, I move the report of the Future Water Supplies and Water Action Committee, meeting held on the 5th of March 2024, as submitted, be received, and the various recommendations contained therein be adopted.
Any seconder from the committee? Any seconder from the Future Water Committee?
Seconded.
Thank you. Any matters arising from the report? Any hands? Councillor Neta?
Thank you, Worship. Item 2.
Anyone before item 2, item 1? Quiet.
Okay, thank you, Worship. I see this report here on pumping status. That on the 1st of November, it was the same report. 27th of November, it was the same report. And on the 30th of January, it was the same report. And then on the 5th of March, it was the same report. And then on the 8th of March, it was the same report with some little bit of slight of change. What worries me is the way we are handling AMA repairs it, especially UMA pumps. We see that we've got about 46 pumps. It's loud. 28 are functional, 24 are non-functional. But since November last year, only 2 have been repaired. So I'm worried about that. Future water, we demand and we ask to be a matter of what? Of urgency in dealing with AMA repairs. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you. But while still there, Councillor Neta, are you aware that the Future Water Department or Committee does not do the repairs?
Yes, I'm aware.
You are aware, thank you. So I think we should direct that to the relevant.
To the yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councillor Nkomo, which item?
Item 6 and item 12.
Hold on there. Before item 6, any other intervention? Councillor?
Thank you, Mayor Election. Item 2. I wanted to raise the same way that was raised by the council that if I read very well, anomalous and error of omission instead of reporting or systematic error. But the report from Future Water from item 1 to 7, if you check it very well, it's a record of January and April. I don't know whether it was mistakes of dates, etc. But well, my case is on the issue of water delivery. In my understanding that as the council, we failed to stick to the agreement and to the schedule of 120-hour load shedding. And this has affected the residents. In terms of as we are aware that we are in a serious year of drought. So my feeling, my thinking was the committee was going to, or maybe it's a recommendation that the committee must look into internal local remedies or immediate solutions to make sure that the citizens, the residents, have water. As we understand that, of course, they have a connection with the community of each land, but the language which they are speaking is the same in as far as water is a concern. And it has been my understanding that the government availed 7 million, I don't know, USD or RTGs in the 4th of January for the drilling of boats. Those boats are a very important item as in terms of dealing with water crisis in general as the council, because we understand which is okay in the it cannot immediately solve the water crisis with immediate effect. But nasi singathola ama-balls now that we were promised by the government, and I don't know whether the money was availed or not. It can help us very well, and it is a charge to the committee of water to say beyond looking at the issues to do with our sources of water in terms of ama dams as now, they can even research, because in my research I was researching to this other town in Botswana which had a crisis of water. What they did, they sourced for a land. Then they created a plant whereby an investor came and drilled 2 big balls, whereby then they sourced the water from the balls and then purified that water commercially. So it's better for us as a city to have water available, regardless of the price, than to have long queues in our balls. Some of them, they are even dead. So it's better for the people of Bulawayo to have options, either to buy water or then to queue balls. So I was saying this in a nutshell, that the committee taking note that select drought and Israel are now, we are not expecting any miracle now. It must come up with recommendations or solutions or immediate ideas on solving the issue of water. It might be in the balls or ama plants, might be a commercial, as long as abantu bengatshoni betshana ezibhoraneni bebulalana because of long queues, bengatshoni-ke beswela amanzi, but they have options either to buy or to wait for queues. While we are solving the issue of water, because the 120-hour load shedding, we are failing to abide by it. Abantu spend more than a week, and there are no explanations, only those pressers with same explanations every time. So I think maybe the committee must sit down in their capacity of intelligence to come up with the proper research that will give us immediate solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other item before 6? Yes, Councillor Mabuto.
Yeah, what I see that item, Your Worship, item number 2, and also to maybe assist in the matter which was raised by one of the colleagues here, when you then interjected, Your Worship, that this committee does not deal with technical things. So the question which we then have is, why are technical things being brought to the Future Water Committee? There is a clash with the engineering committee. At one point in time, Your Worship, if you recall very well, we clashed in this chamber in the previous council when we then raised the issues of the terms of reference of this committee. Is it a technical committee or it's a planning committee in terms of future water? So you will see that certain reports which are coming here, you will read them in engineering. So there are certain things which needs to be corrected so that this committee sticks to its mandate. If it is a planning committee on future water, let it be restricted to that. Let us not import technical issues which are engineering issues coming to the technical committee. Worship. Thank you.
Thank you. The chairperson shall respond later. Councillor Ndlovu.
Thank you, Your Worship, TC and fellow councillors and management. Clearly, we have been very unfortunate to fail to have inflows into our dams. My contribution is to do with item 1 on the status of water resources. And to expect any inflows on surface water, I think it would be just to expect it too much, because it is clear that the rainfall season is over. But then we were made to understand that we have Nyamandovu Aquifer, and our challenges there are vandalism. There is quite a lot of water. Our issues that need our attention are to do with capacitating the poles that need repairs. And there were issues raised to do with the need for City Council to work with government to try and beef up security there. And I want to try and find out whether there is any movement on the part of Zino in terms of trying to step up the security, so that security one, and the issue of also helping us to capacitate the pole so that there is pumping capacity for the Makwekwa Reservoir. The second one is to do with boreholes. The boreholes are certainly going to play a major role in augmenting our supplies locally. I raise this point because I know of communities that have realized the tragic situation in which we find ourselves. They have come up, I'm talking about residents of Bulawayo. They've actually fundraised to try and assist the City Council develop some of the boreholes that were done but not completed. I want to appeal to this council to actually embrace such efforts from the residents who have fundraised and are willing to help City Council to complete those half-done projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Mandamu. What item?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm still writing on item 2. Mine is going to be brief. I realize when I try and do the steps of the reports by the councillors on water, almost every councillor is reporting a clean water base in the areas. And if you look at the reaction time that our council employees take to respond to those water bases, which is clean water, it's too long. Sometimes it's between 12 to 24 hours before they can react to this water that consistently continue to be lost. Now, in the advent of such serious water shortages, can the chair advise if there are steps that are being taken? Because I feel we are using a lot of water to base pipe. Yes, I agree, and I fully concur that the infrastructure that our water is being distributed on is old and probably obsolete. But we need to know the intervention measures that the authorities that are responsible for the department are doing to ensure that we arrest that anomaly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other intervention before item 6, so that I give Councillor Dinkomo. Go ahead, Councillor Dinkomo, on item 6.
Item 6, Mr. Chair. My contribution is water augmentation. As you're all aware, we've had one dam being built in Bulawayo in the past 44 years, whereas between 1960 and 1976, with a dam being built every 5 years. And I note importantly that the committee has noted the importance of a number of projects, upcoming projects, such as a glass block, which is noted in item 6, and similarly in item 12. It's exactly the same. I wanted to find out what is the status of glass block. I was hoping that we'd have a column that would indicate the status of those projects. If my memory serves me well, we talked about the fact that we want to know the unit cost of the water. Do we know that now, number one? Number two, what is the projected volume of water that we expect from glass block? Number 3, where are we with the glass block? Chair, thank you.
Thank you. Any other intervention? Then item 6, Councillor Dimabutu.
Item 8.
Anyone before item 8? Go ahead, Councillor Mabutu. Item 8.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Item 8 speaks about the status of water resources and dam levels, Your Worship. To the chairperson and the Committee of Future Water, it looks like we are faced with the ghost of 1992. You will note, Your Worship, that on 4 October, Your Worship, 1992, 3 of City Water's dams dried up. The city was only left with 2 dams, enough to supply the city for only 43 days as of October 1992, October 2022. Roughly, in estimation, it was about 13 million cubic meters of water. And when we look at where we are, I can see from the report that very soon we'll be decommissioning Lower Lema. Already Mziwani has already been decommissioned. And very soon will be in intensive care. The question which I have to the committee, Your Worship, as a planning committee, Your Worship, I want to pose this question. What inroads have they made in engaging the government? We only heard of promises, right? Was there any funding which was released by government to assist? Secondly, we said previously that Bulawayo has to be declared the water crisis city, right? What is the progress in regard to that? Because we spoke in this council, Your Worship, that these are the matters which must be taken seriously by Honorable Dr. Masuka, Honorable Chitando, the Minister of Water and the Minister of Local Government. So we hope our chairperson, our able chairperson, would be able to enlighten us here. Also, on the progress in terms of the Epping Forest and the Rochester, where we have got our cities high-yielding boards. What plans are there? What inroads have been made to assist the water in this crisis which we are faced, Worship?
Thank you, Councillor Mabuto. Any other contribution? Sorry, Councillor, Bonel Pams is answer. All right. Sorry? Okay. Right, we are still on item 8. Kono funu kuluma, anything before we move to the next item? Okay, we are done with the item. Councillor Odingomo, we said another item is an item.
Yeah, item 12 is actually similar to item 6. So, for example, I also wanted to raise the issue of the Kwai Shangani. If you read item 6, it says Kwai Shangani is 75% completion. If you read it again, item 12, March, it says 75% complete. There appears to be no progress. I'm not blaming the committee, but I'm saying we should also be very aggressive when we engage government about the water projects. Otherwise, the city will actually die. We're not seeing progress even from the government side. I think that's the worry. Item 6, item 12, same things reported on, and some of the dams that are supposed to, like Kwai Shangani, no progress, still 75%. Go back to December again, and September last year, still the same percentages in terms of completion.
Councillor Moyo.
Thank you, Worship. Today I'm glad that my fellow councillors who are arguing about the feasibility study, we have seen what we had seen before.
Which item is that, Councillor Moyo?
On item 12.
Okay.
Yes, as the visionaries, we concerned about making sure that the city has got sufficient water, and we are bringing statistics each council. And unfortunately, some of our colleagues were not in support of us bring valid and viable, feasible solutions to the city of Bulawayo. We are concerned that the city will get to such an extent where we will lack water, and even going forward, if we check the weather forecast, is no longer going to be favorable because of climate change. So I'm glad now that you are speaking the one language, no one is no longer talking about feasibility studies. But my concern, the mayor of the city of Bulawayo, Honorable Senator David Coltart, has always been talking about the Southeast Corridor. So maybe in the reports that we are having here in front of us, there are no such statistics that they are speaking to those actionable points that are being taken. Councillor Mashlang was also mentioning that we are supposed to see that maybe concerning glass block, you have progressed this far. You are also talking about drilling some balls, I think, in a fountain there. You also need to see such actionable points, the statistics where we are going, because we can't come here as the city fathers and city mothers and pretend as if everything is well in a city where there is no water. So my point is that can this committee go and fine-tune their reports so that they speak to what will go and report out there, that concerning the Southeast Corridor, you've gone so much, maybe concerning the repairing of the Nyamandlov Aquifer, we have gone this far. It is very important, like I always say, that Bulawayo is losing investment because there is no water in the city. So when we are now speaking in one voice, I am glad, and I'm going to thank my pastor at church who has been praying that all the things that I've been talking about, people should understand. So I'm so grateful to my fellow councillors. Maybe a message to this committee: let's go and fine-tune the reports so that they speak a simple language that we can go and articulate to our residents that maybe on this item we are now 50%. Here maybe you are commencing is now maybe on research and the foundation stage. Maybe here we are now 90%, because people are banking on this house to come up with the solutions. We cannot go, I'm in the finance committee and the chairperson of finance committee. If we are now saying let's drill holes, it means that at the end of the day, the council will not have money, because you don't get anything from those balls. But the city of council business is to make sure that we are selling water to the residents. That income can only come when we have got treated water that is coming from someone's tap, and you are harnessing to make sure that we get the much needed finances to also undertake some of the projects, such as even road. I know it's another issue, but as the city of Bulawayo, if we have got money even from other outlying activities that you are doing, we can then say if there is any excess surplus, then you can take to those projects. Thank you.
Siyabonga. Ukhona omunye ofuna ukukhuluma le report ingakanika u-chairperson we-committee. Councillor Esmo. Sorry. Ubuphakamisa isandla ku-item 10 angikubonanga.
Kambe kahle kakhuluma nto uyeqile from 8 to 12.
All right, go ahead.
Item 10, issue of water kiosk. Ngiyananzelela lapha i-city of Bulawayo ithi le 23 water kiosks, and out of it 23, I think most of them are sevenz. Kulamanye afake ngo-2018 that are not working, maybe bayabala kuphela but engasebenzi. Ngicela ukuthi at least they pull up their stockings. Kulamanye esafakilwa ngama-partners up to today, try contaminated, and how long does it take to clean it? Because of the crisis of water, the purpose of those water kiosks ayisabonakali ngoba awasebenzi. So sicela ukuthi ngabe bali number bakhangele ba-miners angasebenzi. And how long does it take to plant ilokuze water kiosk? Sile material yonke into, but it has taken more than 2 years.
Thank you, Councillor Esmoyo. Any other intervention? Okay, before I give the chairperson the opportunity to respond to some of the issues raised, ngizathanda ukuthi lami ngikhulume 1 or 2. Then okokuqala amanzi kasilawo as a city. i-timetable iyafakwa i-recovery ukuthi endaweni enje sizathola ngelanga elinje, but as long as amanzi nalawo engekho, there is nothing the city can do. And as councillors, we are the ones who should then inform our residents where we reside. Ukuthi amanzi kawakho lathi singabe ngabanye abacomplainayo ukuthi amanzi bekuthiwe habuya ngomgqibelo kabuyanga aphelele ngapha kafikanga. Kakula pressure because kakula manzi. Siku crisis situation. That's point number 1. Point number 2, Councillor MT Moy. In future, you are not putting on a suit. Then point number 3, issue future water. It deala ngamanzi akusasa future water ngendlela ukukhulunywa ngayo. Kodwa if future is informed by the current, the present, it is very, very vital and important ukuthi ama statistics sibe lawo ukuthi amanzi kume kanje amademu uhamba kanje kanje. That one is very, very important, and that report shall always feature each and every month. Yes, iyabe ifananile January, February, March, April. For example, kwaishangani iku 75%. I-report ye-committee asozitshintshe ithi sokuku 80% yona ivele ku 75. Remember, liyana iphuma ku-fiscus iyabe budgeted for. We are all aware soke sayibona i-budget ukuthi ya-allocate imalini for kwaishangani. Then coming to ama-interventions raised here, glass block, labo aquifer and so forth. I-glass block, I think last month it was reported ukuthi kule committee eyakhethwayo, there is a technical committee eyakhethwa nguminister, bese kusiba le technical committee eyakhethwayo ele council labantu be-glass block. Baza presenter their report, I think in June. Then ba presenter their report, iway forward, isizakhanya khona lapho. That is where the issue of the price of water will be given to us. Then i-purchase agreement esavumayo ukuthi siyisayine izasayinwa upon sesibonile ukuthi amanzi azakhosta malini. And secondly, amanzi ukuthi azabe manganani from glass block, that is 70 cubic meters, I think, somewhere there. Angila sure, but as a cover, the percentage ethile yamanzi akwaBulawayo. So kathi siyalindele ukuthi that report ibisibona. Then with regard to aquifer, that report, Councillor Moyo izabuya ku council committee. There is something on that. When this report had already been prepared. So izabuya. So these are some of the issues enthe siwaraise ukuthi sizisane sibe nendawo. Amanzi kawakho kwaBulawayo. We are the ones who should explain to the residents as their representatives. Ukuthi amanzi kasila. Uyathiwa ayabuya then le ndawo yama kiosk lama borehole, they are non-revenue water sources zakwaBulawayo. I-council esikwenza kathesi, I think we made a resolution, if you can recall well, ukuthi ama boreholes afileyo wonke i-council izancedisa kathesi alungiswe, but i-council ayisoze idrille ama boreholes, izalungisa nalawa avele njani avele ekhona. And as such, any issue futhi eraisiweyo i-issue declare a city as a water crisis area. Isizulu president who declare ilizwe lonke akasadeclare a city. So it gives us the leeway now to approach our donors with asincedise. Ngoba as a country in crisis because of this drought induced by El Nino. So it's now a national disaster. Yes, we've been crying with this declare as a water crisis area. We have been declared together with other cities and the rest of the country. So that one is coming. Anyway, let me give this opportunity to the chairperson of the Future Water Committee to respond to issues raised. Councillor Zitja, ngikuzile ukuthi ukhona ufuna ukukhuluma yini singakayenzi ama-closing remarks on that particular item. You did not raise your hand, sorry. Send me chairperson wesikhathi.
Ngiyabonga worship. Everything that is responded. Worship responded. Wonke ama-concerns, ama-councillors, but engalithembisa khona ukuthi i-committee izabuyelela iyekhangela konke sinanzelela ukuthi silephutha elikhulu especially kuma kiosk laphana le 120 hour shedding ukuthi si notify nanini masinyane kusasele isikhathi maybe 3 days or 4 days before silethe umbiko ukuthi ama pumps ethu kathesi efenile aphambi kahle sizaphuza ukuletha amanzi endaweni ezithile lezithile kodwa ke noted ma councillors yabo.
Thank you. What should we do to the report? Thank you. Let's move to Anne-Chassi, Health, Housing and Education Committee, Councillor Moyo Kumada.
His Worship, Town Clerk, fellow councillors, council management, media fraternity, and the esteemed guests, I move that the report of the Health, Housing and Education Committee meeting held on the 12th of March as submitted be received and the various recommendations contained therein be adopted.
Thank you. Any seconder from that committee? Thank you. Seconded. Any matters arising from the report? I'm seeing Councillor Odinkomo. Which item?
2.
Anyone before item 2? Open item 1. Go ahead, Councillor Ngomo.
Thank you, Your Worship. My contribution is on waste management. That's item 2. I notice, which includes awareness and enforcement. I note that during the month under review, I think 11 people were 11 residents were fined for litter-related issues. But when you look at the city is still very, very, very dirty. I propose that we strengthen our enforcement. These days you see people throwing litter out of cars. Whether we do patrols, whether we compel business owners to make sure that the areas are clean. So number 1 is the issue of enforcement. Surely with all this litter, we need to have more enforcement. Number 2, I think we also need a way of measuring the cleanliness of the city. I know internationally they've got the Clean Cities Index, which measures how a city is clean. We've reported very well on the number of street sweepers and so forth. If possible, we could also have such an index, Clean Cities Index, which measures the cleanliness of the city per street. I think that will help us in terms of actually measuring whether we're actually becoming cleaner or we're actually having a lot of activities and less cleanliness. Maybe my last contribution on that would be, maybe we also need to look at the role of the non-formal waste pickers, because there's quite a number of them. They're not in our system. We need to look at having integrating them into our waste management policies and our bylaws, because I think they play a very key role in terms of keeping the city clean. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nkomo. Councillor Obe, which item?
Still on the same item 2.
Right.
Thank you, Worship.
Ngizathi ngibuze ku-chairperson we-committee ukuthi ikhona yini imizamo esiyenziwe ikhangelwe i-committee leyi ukuthi kwamanye ama-wards okungela kubuthwa kwezibi totally kodwa sokukhoza ukuthi sibe lomkhuhlane koBulawayo. For example, I speak about iCountry Park. We have 2 wards ezingela kuthi kuyabuya kuzobuthwa izibi. I think kudala kwakuthweka kula mgwaqo, but khathesi izindawo ezilama-best roads so far ukuthi izibi kumele zibuthwe kodwa azifiki izimota zakhona. We have i-community concerned ngokuhlala kuhle kweze health. They do ama-cleanups, bayabuthanisa izibi zingabuthana kakulo zithathayo ziphinde zichitheke futhi. So ngithi ngibuze ku-committee le ukuthi kukhona yini okukhona ukuthi izibi lezi zize zibuthwe, ngoba umkhuhlane uzasuka uzona izo ndawo uzongena kulalawo amalokishi abuthwa izibi. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Owe. Ofu. Any other intervention? Councillor MT Moyo. Fulukuluma futhi. Stand up. Which item?
Thank you, Your Worship in Action. Item 10 and 15.
Anyone before item 10, Councillor Mabeza? Indlovu, which item?
The item 2.
Item 2. Go ahead, Councillor Indlovu.
I want to compare with Councillor Mbomo on his concern that how does a city as huge as Bulawayo only have 11 people arrested for littering? I find it really unbelievable that I think our levels of leniency have gone too far. We need to really strengthen our mechanisms of making sure that people must get arrested. People must be fined. I think these are some of the leaky revenue sources that we can leverage on. I think we need to understand that clean cities attract investment. Clean cities attract tourism. And it was always the pride of each and every one of us to come to a clean city. And if you look at the examples of other neighboring cities or even countries where we normally say you will not see litter scattered all around, they have come up with punitive measures of enforcement to make sure that if you throw away even a little piece of paper, we need to have mechanisms to make sure that people are penalized for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other intervention before item 5? Councillor Mabeza, item 5.
Thank you, Worship. Item 5 on cemeteries. I don't know if that's Hyde Park. There are houses close to Hyde Park. And I realized, when I was passing by, I realized that kids play inside the cemeteries on top of amangcwaba abanikazi. So I was actually of an opinion yokuthi, is it possible and ukuthi laphana kufakwe ifence kumbe kufakwe ijirawo? Because to me, when I saw it, it didn't sit well with me. Ukuthi nxa abantwana sebekhula bedlalela endaweni ezinjalo, it becomes something else. So that's my contribution also.
Thank you, Councillor Mabeza. Any other contribution before item 8? Thank you. Until item 8, Mba. Where can 10? Any other before item 10? Councillor Meli Tobega Moyo.
Thank you, Your Worship. Item 10. I think item 10 is a marriage of convenience with item 2. It speaks on solid waste management. The committee highlighted their 10 points of action, which I found in my disposal very key to the progress of managing our environment as a city. But then when we are here as councillors and as management, we need to have honest conversations that they can bring them to solid solutions in addressing concrete challenges we are facing as a city. We have failed to clean up Bulawayo. That's the honest truth. Since the investment of our mayor with his team, let's clean up Bulawayo up to date, I feel like we have done so much clean up a campaign. But up to date, if you go around the CBD, even in our communities where we are coming from, the city is still dead. Then I want to speak on on that 10-point plan. There's point number 7, which speaks of purchasing bins costing 36,000 United States dollars. If my memory serves me very well, Councillor Mpumela at some point in January raised the motion that let's adopt a policy whereby all business centers or all shop owners purchase bins. It might be 2, 3, or 5, depending on the space and the coverage of that local zone, so that we don't have a scenario whereby we do clean up campaigns. People, they will pick up litter, but they don't have anywhere to place that litter. So we'll be doing a merry-go-round situation without any solution. So my problem and my challenge with this council, the ideas are very noble and okay, and we applaud to that, but we lack enforcement. And it defeats the whole purpose for us to come and sit here and debate, because our duty is to debate and come up with solutions. We are not here to cry or to speak problems, but we are here to debate and come up with solutions. Then if you come up with solutions, there is no enforcement at all. So that's our challenge, which I think on their item A7, there's no need for the council to spend 36,000. Whereas we have business owners which have a corporate responsibility to give back to the community by purchasing bins that can notice us in that item. And also on their item 6, which speaks of enforcement, it has no budget. It's the very cheapest one, which I think this council must divert its energy on. Let's make sure that we are very thorough town clerk to the issues of enforcement, because it defeats the whole purpose to sit here, make laws, and your department, your duty to fail to implement. To us, when we are doing the oversight role, we feel intimidated and at the same time irritated with the lack of enforcement. So let's focus on that. It's very critical and it's very important for the city. Then if your worship, you allow me to move on the last item 15 on committee service.
No, we are still on item 10.
Item 10. I'm done with that.
Yes, usamile khonapho councillor mall.
Yeah.
Abantu laba i-committee leyiphumele 10 points leziyana. Ithi ifuna ukuyenhesa enforcement. Yena nobusisolo ukuthi kayenze enforcement yona ikhuluma ukuthi izinto efuna ukuzi-improve.
Sorry, maybe your worship, I used at English. Let me speak in the way.
Yes.
In the point ukuthi ngiqalisa ukungena e-counseling there. August and December. 2 terms. I've said so far. Yes. This has been a point of debate.
Okay.
David contacted the mayor in his absentia. He came with the theme, let's clean up Bulawayo. Okay? Then Umelelo, the councillor, the finance chair, came with the motion in January that all business owners must purchase bins.
So we rescue.
Sorry? What ama business now? Betholakala bethenga amabhini so that sincedisane ekuclean any seat. But now since April, mabuya the 10-point plan clear and very no siyayithanda siyayithokozela. But mina ngithi i-36,000 abafuna uspenda emabhinini, it has been a motion eya-resolve Councillor Mpumelelo, which serves in the corporate mandate of every business owner in the city of Bulawayo. Ukuthi bethenga amabhini, because it has been a motion but it has failed to be implemented. So issue on their point is not on the idea of proposing, but it's on the idea of what, instead of them attempting to spend the money, I'm really back to enforce the motion already that was put in place.
Yeah, in that one I agree with you. Yeah, lapho sokucace. But when solo enforcement, ukuthi bantu bafuna ukuyenhance ukuthi hayi awa-enforce. But kule amabhini 100% correct.
Yes.
In this house, sakhuluma ngakho ukuthi each and every shop, it must be mandatory ukuthi ibe le bin phandle. It must also be mandatory ukuthi each shop ikhangele cleanliness ye-surrounding yayo. We agreed in that one, we are spot on. But when enhancement maybe asiba-encourage ukuthi khonokho abasitshela khona baku-enforce. Then ku-next meeting yikho sungatsho ukuthi hayi ali-enforceanga into elasitshelayo na previous meeting. But in that one, we are spot on. May you kindly sit down. Thank you so much. Any other intervention? Councillor Ndlovu,
was item number 16.
Any other before item 16? Yours was item 15. Any other item before 15? Right, maybe go ahead, item 15.
Thank you, Your Worship. I will brief on item 15 on social work activities. Kule ndawo yama-rates rebate, kule ndawo yama-commitments, kule ndawo yama-stata. Before I brief on rates rebate, I think it's an initiative as a proper council who understand that the society in our classes are genuine. People with old age, pensioners, workers, etc. I think this idea must be well communicated to our citizens, and it must be made, it must be user friendly in nature, because labazali abaplaya lezi zinto to be part of this initiative, but they spend more than 4 years without any response. Abanye abasekho emhlabeni, what is waiting for this initiative to be passed. Then on committee was kulesicelo a council. Siyananzelela ukuthi ama-committee was sesiwasenza njengama-commercial centers to amass to radically amass capital as the council, which is okay. But kulesicelo because we have young people in our society, and I feel I'm speaking this note because it's the right council which deals with the youth. There's been a serious pandemic, your worship and councillors, if you're not aware, that is rising in our community, which is supposed to be treated with urgency. Because in as far as we are focusing on service delivery, the people whom are delivering services, the majority are dying with drug and substance abuse. So bekule straight ukuthi ama-youth ethu lapho esivela khona abalandawo ezokuhlangana, abalandawo ezokupractice into zabo ezithiniwe, it might be art, sports, etc. So bekule straight esukuthi ama-community walls lawo atshone value from Monday to Sunday, unless if the church is booked, or if us, the councillors, have our feedback meetings. So we will take as part of the property of council that's supposed to benefit them, in trying to make sure that we remove them from the street. Bebecela ukuthi bethole even ilanga elilodwa elingabavumelana njenge-council ukuthi behlangane, it might be youth in arts, they practice. As you know, Bulawayo, it is good in arts and culture. Lama councillors, Umande, Sandra, can attest to that we have challenged in terms of arts, but they don't have a platform where they can engage as the young people, so as to eradicate them from abusing drugs. And it goes back to the issue of also ama clinic your worship that we have as council communities. We just tell again ukuthi singathola even we extend our clinics, and we have the rehabilitation center, so that kulaba abase abuse ama drugs and abase beyond the way of repair, eventually ama platforms, ama centers where they can be assisted even in counseling. Okugcina kuma stadium besicela your worship bengise BF last week ngibona ke i-team yethu i-boss i-BF ayisekho ku-good state. I think maybe because last year it has been used by so many people, by so many teams, including Dynamo Stimbara from i-Sosberg. Bese lesicelo sokuthi i-council ikunanzelele isiriphelelana indawo, because to us it complicates a lot from this region. So bese lesicelo lingasinnovathela i-BF from the dressing room even to the terraces. Ngakhala or follow a stadium and other stadiums which are being made around the country are khangeleka. So bese lesicela ukuthi i-BF yethu iPapa Fields stadium likhangele linike i-attention njenge-council, maybe in terms of ama repairs. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor. What the advice yami into zidumile zonke ezinhle. Lomba ama-councillors within that committee. Kubuye lapha ku-full council sokuyi-recommendation bese sokupasisa. All your ideas are excellent, but the proper channel lobby that committee. Then my committee sikuletha lapha kabe sokubambe. That is item 15. Any other intervention in item 15 before we go to item 16? Councillor Wobenboff.
Yeah.
Just to add or propose ukuthi singayenza njani from all the items ezikhulunywe nguCouncillor uMoyo, ngisuggest ukuthi since i-council yethu mhlawumbe ilobunzima bokufaka all those facilities eziqakathekileyo ezimentionwa nguCouncillor Moyo, kunani ukuthi si-partner, sidinga ama-private players who can partner i-council ukuthi izinto zenezo zibe khona, because sesilama communities angela totally zona izinto, like we speak of i-community hall, ukuthi nxa lingabuya ku-ward 6 kungaphi lapho kungahlangana khona abantu benza umhlangano, kumbe kungaphi kungachadela khona abantu. So those things ziyafunakala ku-community. Ama-recreation centers kawakho totally, but siyakunanzelela ukuthi siku-economy ebad for now. Kunani ukuthi sivuleni sidinga indlela ama-clauses angayenza ukuthi sithole ama-private players who can chip in befaka zona ezo zinto on a condition esiyibona ukuthi we don't lose out as e-council. So my suggestion is ukuthi let's partner ama-private players on those things besincedise koBulawayo.
Thank you. Councillor Ndlovu, item 16. Go ahead.
Item number 16 kwezemfundo. Ndananzela ukuthola kune-challenge esikolo kakhulu endaweni ezintsha njengabo-Country Park, uthola ukuthi isikolo siyi-3-in-1. I-established capacity ke-800 to 1.2 learners. Kodwa uthola isikolo, for example, labantu abangu-2.8, labantu abangu-2.3, okuba nomthelela omubi ikakhulu esikhathini sokufunda nokufundisana, ikakhulu even the pass rate yakhona. So-ke sicela ukuthi khona njengoba sigubha i-44 years of independence, akungabi le ndawo lapho kulabantwana abasafunda ngaphansi kwezihlahla phezu kwezitina, especially emalokishini amatsha, okusale izindlu ezintsha futhi eziyakhwana. So-ke i-suggestion eyami Nkosi yokuthi kulama-church amaningi, kulama-private players amaningi are-ready ukuthi a-intervene lapha koBulawayo, a-address i-backlog yesikolo, ngoba last time we checked kwakulezikolo ezazidingakala eze-primary eziyi-25 and kachase i-population iyakhwela kodwa ngakulasikolo ezemfundo yangaphansi eziyakhwayo. So-ke maybe singasuggesta ku-committee ukuthi ibe ne-partnership, maybe nama-churches alemali, maybe nama-private players alemali ukuthi kuyakhiwe isikolo, especially endaweni kumbe emalokishini amatsha. For example, you've got one school lapha koBulawayo yokuthiwa yiMahlathini Primary School, ilabantwana abangu-2,800 and i-capacity yayo 800 learners. Now, where yisukukhona phana ngoba uyathola i-admin block sipartitioniwe singama-classroom block sokufundela abantwana besikolo. So siyacela ukuthi i-committee ingawukhangelisisa ukuthi ibe nama-partnership labanye abantu abangakwanisa ukusakhela isikolo ezishibhileyo ukuthi umphakathi uqhubeke ukufunda. Okwesibili Nkosi, kule ndaba ekuthiwa ngama-project managers, izikolo eziningi ziyacomplaina ama-SDCs anezimali zabo, bafuna ukwenza ama-bus shed, bafuna ukwenza ama-kitchen, bafuna ukwenza ama-bedroom. Kodwa kunento ekuthiwa ngama-project managers, they take too long uku-attenda ezikolo khonapho kuze kuthiwa abakho-available. And izikolo zemali yabo bale-material yabo osalende bazibabone balithwele izulu enga-attend to those things. So siyacela ukuthi i-committee ukukhangelisise lokho siyaphambili. Ngiyabonga Nkosi.
Thank you. Usamile, Councillor Ndlovu. Ezikolo utsho eze-council beze-government. Lezi othi kulama-project managers. Council schools. Yeah, okay. I think we raised it previously as well. The issue yokuthi kube flexible. Kulabanye ababefuna maybe ukuthatha amaloni ebhenki bathenga amabhasi abayofuna ukwenza this and that. Imithetho yethu is very strict. I think I appreciate that contribution. Thank you. Any other contribution after item 15 or item 50? Councillor Maposa.
Still right on the issue that has been raised by Councillor Untana. Allow me to thank the US Embassy and also e-book aid in donating to our libraries. I think it has been consistent in helping our libraries in material things. So we would want to applaud them and thank them for their gesture. Coming also to e-committee, I think we need to zero in more of capacity our libraries in terms of our computers. Most of our libraries, they've been connected, but they lack our computers. So I think attention should be drawn to that area so that we help our youngsters in terms of e-learning and using of our computers in this day and age. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Maposa. Any other intervention? Councillor K. Ndlovu.
As as a member of the committee, siyavuma, siyananzelela ngikhomenta ku-2 we-waste management. Siyavuma ukuthi idolobho lingcolile. Kodwa ke sesi-invite siyacela ama-councillors wonke ngendawo zabo ezitshiyeneyo, ama-residents alivotelayo, sicela lisincedise uku-reinforce umthetho ukuthi idoti ingasabalali. Siyazama ngamandla wonke futhi sizama ukucollecta lapho esicollecta khona bese sithi mayuyu kulawa ma-wards esingakaze sifike khona. Sicela ama-respective councillors abalama-problems bathintane lo-chairperson ngenkinga ekhona kuma-WhatsApp. Bese sithi phakathi kwedorobho kule doti enkulu kakhulu, it's another ward also business area eyilo ilihlo lako Bulawayo. Kodwa ke sizacela njalo ukuthi mhlawumbe engineering committee isicelo nje ukuthi kule mgwaqo njengo 6 Avenue eyengcole kakhulu elama vendors. Besikhangelele khona kakhulu kumbe singakunika i-TTI kwenze ukuthi kube lo mthetho ku reinforce lapha bengahlali yonke ndawo benanzelela ukuthi kube lamabhini. Ngiyabonga Nkosi.
Thank you. Any other intervention in this report before I give the chairperson of the committee to wrap it up? Khona ufuna ukukhuluma kambe kuyinale report? Thank you. Ungakani ku-chairperson ngizakhomenta nge-enforcement. I-enforcement singathi kakola enforcement idolobho lingcolile emalokishini lingcolile. Mina lawo yitho kumele si-enforce. We must be our brother's keeper. Ungabona umuntu elahla izibi umbophise wena ungalindela amapholisa eCouncil kambe angayikwanisa idolobho lelo ukuthi abe everywhere lapho umuntu alahla khona iphepha. It's our duty as citizens of this great city ukuthi sibone ukuthi akula muntu esimekela elahla amaphepha. Ama-enforcement agents kulathi city council kule EMA. I-EMA yabhadalisa imali eningi kakhulu. Ungabona umuntu ohamba esalahla izibi lapho kumele angelahle khona, qhweba be-EMA, qhweba amapolice eze-therapy, qhweba be-council. Now you can do a citizen's arrest as well. So kulokho kasi-enforceni sonke nini. It's up to me and you to keep our city clean. Angithi ukuthi ngiyavala ukuthi council banga-enforce, but I'm saying i-enforcement ikithi sonke. Lapho esihlala khona kakube smart, kakube clean. Nxa singabona umuntu olahla izibi ngongcolisayo kube yithi esingenelayo si-intervene sitsho ukuthi hayi siyakhala kubotshwa abantu abayi-11 kodwa mina ngahambisa abayi-15 bahambisa abayi-10 kababotshwanga. Singathi silindele ukuthi i-council kube yebabophayo. I-council cannot be everywhere. Thina yithi esiba everywhere as abantu bakobulayo sonke, councillors included. So it's our duty, each and every one of us, ukubona ukuthi idolobho lethu siligcina lihlanzekile. Chairperson, can you wrap up your report if you have got any comment?
Thank you, fellow councillors, for all the contributions. As a committee, we are noting with great concern. Yeah, some of I think most of the contributions were comments, opinions, and the recommendations. So we are going to look into each and every issue as a committee. I think there were concerns on cemeteries, solid waste management, schools and recreational centers. For schools, we heard what our colleagues are proposing. We are taking everything into cognizance, but I think we are supposed to comply with our policies in some of the issues. Yes, we are going to look for partnership, and already we are partnering with some of our stakeholders like Latter-day Saints is helping us here and there as a department or as a council. Then to issues of solid waste management and littering within the city, I think His Worship has already alluded to the issue of reinforcement, which is our councillors. We are supposed to work hand in hand with those who are enforcing the law. Since we are policymakers, we are supposed to encourage and discourage those who are doing willy-nilly the littering. Then the issue of lagging behind, Councillor Moyo alluded to our 10 points. We are trying to work very hard to improve. Yeah, in all the identified areas as a committee or as a department, but I think we are all aware that as a council we are facing serious financial challenges. So we are lagging behind mainly due to serious financial challenges, and also I think we know that we are short-staffed. So we don't have enough city sweepers within the city. Again, I encourage my fellow councillors that as councillors, let's try to encourage and motivate the residents to pay rates so that we can maybe we can collect a reasonable revenue which can help us to improve here and there. I think it's our duty to keep our city clean. It's our duty to develop our city. Let's try to help, work hand in hand with our residents, with the business community. We all know that we are not getting revenues, even for the from the business community. We are failing to get hard cash. Even from the residents, we are failing to get hard cash. But all the interventions which we are supposed to do are demand foreign currency. Thank you.
Thank you. What should we do to the report?
Move.
Thank you. Let's move to Annex D, Environmental Management Committee Chairperson or the FC Chairperson.
Boss, I move that the report of the Environmental Management and Engineering Services Committee meeting held on 18th March 2024 is submitted, be received, and the various recommendations contained therein be adopted.
Thank you. Any seconder from this committee? Thank you. Letters arising from the report. Councillor Esmoyon.
Item 9.
Before item 9, item 2, Councillor Rindani Moyo. Sorry?
Item 2.
Item 2. Right. Can start on item, Councillor Matsana? Oh, go ahead, Councillor Matsana.
Okay, thank you very much. It's on fire and ambulance services. I have noted, Your Worship, I'm sure some of our councillors, even members of the public, have also seen the trucks that we got from Belarus as ambulances. I just wanted to say, I feel I've also spoken to some of even the council workers, and even if you are to take a look at the ambulances that we got from Belarus, which were purchased through the government, I would want to think positively, I feel like the government was not fair on us as a council, because those trucks, if I wouldn't want to believe that those trucks can actually get on point in time. And even if you have to look at the structure and how it was probably designed, I would want to propose that next time in the event that maybe you want to purchase those fire trucks, the government or whoever is responsible, I think they should also consult even the council so that you don't get trucks which cannot even be used for anything. As far as I know, I've seen even right now, wherever there is attendance, those trucks are hardly used. Probably because of the size that they are too high, they cannot even maneuver in our roads. I don't know what Belarus Kunjan, but those trucks, I don't think there was justice on us as a council in purchasing those trucks. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone on item 1? Can you go for item 2?
Ngiyabonga Nkosi. Item 2 on ama-best. I have noticed ukuthi the number of best iba high from January. Basically 94. Khathesi kule 101. Asiwazi ukuthi kusiyafika uJuni ngiyabe kuminjani. Siyananzelela ukuthi mhlawumbe kwenziwa indlela amanzi aphuza ukubuya ngama pipes ehlale engela amanzi, kodwa ke I'm concerned with department ukuthi akulezi indlela abangasincedisa ngayo yini icommittee ukuthi phela amanzi is a precious liquid ko Bulawayo, amanzi impilo. So nxa sesitshona sesiluza amanzi atreatiweyo, I think sihlangana lobunzima obukhulu. Ngiyehla ngo item 2 again. Laphana bathe bale mota eziyi-12 out of 20 okumele zigijime zincedise konke lokho. Bese ngisithi I propose to the committee ukuthi ngaba prioritize phela ukuthi lapho bayakwazi bona indawo lapho okudubuka khona kakhulu. Kakube le mota vele ezingasoze zisuke kulezo ndawo bayazazi. Ihle i-attend ngokuphangisa. Ngiyabonga.
Councillor Ringani Moyo.
Thank you, Your Worship. I want to speak to item 2 relating to the issue of best water pipes. Now, I also want to echo similar concerns about this high number of water pests. And then equally tied to that is the issue of communication and feedback. There is always a lack of feedback regarding challenges that lead to the inability to attend to some of these sites. And as representatives of residents, we are also left in the dark because after reporting, all you get is a reference number. And it ends there. And then you have to keep calling to check on the progress. I would propose a scenario where on a week-by-week basis, we are given a report of reports that have been made, faults that have been attended to, and faults outstanding, as well as the responsible person on each of those faults. This can be tabulated according to each reference number that has been issued on a weekly basis. This will enable us to be on the same page and to be fully aware of whatever challenges will be obtaining at that particular time. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Moyo. Any other interventions still on that item 2? Councillor Mahlangu, then Wobempof after.
On the same item, Your Worship, I want clarity on what obtained, especially on these deaths that obtained on the weekend. There is hardly any reaction. Is there a specified number of persons that are allocated to ensure that these deaths on clean water attend to the weekend issues? You would realize that from most of the areas we receive water on a Friday, and because of the pressures, this water comes would be open at around 1700, 1800 hours in the late afternoon or in the early evening, and people start receiving the same water around 2000 hours, and then water pests occur later into the night. And they are reported, but that water will flow throughout the weekend, and in some instances to a point where that water has got to be cut off. It would still be flowing. Now my question is, because we know we are working on an infrastructure that is dilapidated and obsolete, are there any interventions that are being made to ensure that when these bursts of care and they are reported over the weekends are attended to, given the seriousness that these water shortages pose to the residents? Because we are always confronted with the situation where the residents are saying, we are quick to allocate and close water. In some areas before water even comes out, it's gone. But you don't react to water pests for 3 days. Clearly, even if we are the advocates of council in ensuring that we send the right messages and communicate effectively and efficiently to the residents, we are left in a situation where sometimes you have nothing to respond. And secondly, those numbers that we have on our group where we respond and we get reference numbers, they are not responded to when you phone. I don't know whether it's by design that on weekends that WhatsApp number is only available on WhatsApp and nothing else. So in a nutshell, Your Worship, this presents a serious challenge in terms of the operationalization of the efficient working in council. Can we come up with a structure and a system like Councillor Adrian Rendani mentioned earlier, that let's not only be effective in acknowledging the reports and giving references, but let's come up with a working system that speaks to the challenges. Because half the time when you call a departmental head or director finding out whether a certain a reference has been attended to, the question will be, abakalungisa. So it clearly points to a gap, not only between the city council, the councillors and management, but even from the management and their subordinates themselves. There's a serious missing link or a misalignment in terms of how these things obtain. And number two, sometimes you report and you are told there's no car to attend to such issues. But in the same area, I don't know, because we don't know these departments, these cars have got certain numbers that they have, and they are themselves who know which car belongs to which department. You have areas where you're told there's no transport, you can't do anything. And you meet these council cars in the neighborhood, in the woods. They're driving back and forth, and even some of them crossing over those burst pipes. I wouldn't want to mention one that I met over the weekend in Woodville, and I asked them, but you're driving over water and you are driving past with reckless abandon. You are a council employee. He says, I don't belong to that department. So there is no ownership. There is no job ownership in city council. Where I come from myself, even if I were to belong to an operations department, or a finance department like myself, when I find there is a problem on the railway line, I report to the department and ensure that, because I'm part of the company, I give effective reports that will ensure these people stand up and come and attend, as opposed to when the report would have been given by a layman. But this does not appear to happen in city council. I don't know whether it's an issue of motivation or it's an issue of the deliberate lackadaisic approach to the job, or it is because the constant at city council is that you don't regard anything that is of concern to the residents. But clearly, something is not working in this department or in the whole city council, because there is no communication whatsoever. Even mere feedback to say we are unable to attend this. The good response is a reference number, which speaks to nothing if you are to be honest with one another. So can we look into this? And if there is need, I want to recommend that let's restructure this department. And if council management is unable to come up with processes and systems that will help align and assist, we are here as councillors. I know you take us as people who are in school and everything, but we are here as councillors and professionals to offer certain help to ensure that at least there's redress to some of these things that are needling up. Because at the end of the day, no one blames council management. It is always these useless councillors who allow water to flow with reckless abandon all the time.
Thank you, Councillor. I think the relevant department is not here. Councillor Ogempofu.
Thank you. Since I come back because Councillor Sethetho kunenga wakhona.
Councillor Mahlangu. Ngizayenza request. I'm still on that item mina le eyama-best yamanzi la. Ngizayenza request kathesi from my ward where I come from. So kule gorge. I-gorge leyo ikhozwe ngamanzi a-best le. So now izimota zakwanisa ukudlula. It is caused by ama-best. Amanzi ageleze 2 days kwadabula umgwaqo. So izimota zakwanisa ukudlula. So the department ekhangelayo khona okwesicela izosincedisa.
Kungaphi exact Councillor
Ward 6. Ko-Athens. Masiwa ko-Athens. Uthi ucapha usiyali. Kule gorge esicreatwe ngamanzi adubukileyo. And amanzi la adubuka ngesikhathi abantu baku-area naleyo bengela manzi aphuma ezimpompini. Just imagine ukuthi how painful it is. So I'm trying to emphasize on ukuthi i-reaction yethu must improve. Mina ngipropose ukuthi for EIGHTIETH, everyone knows ukuthi siyiyo indawo enkulu kakhulu. That's the biggest constituency now in Bulawayo. Sike saxoxa lama-councillors amanye ama-departments khona apha sithi no, I think because of ukuthi asilazimota ezikwaneleyo koBulawayo kunani ukuthi sivula i-department sivula i-office elama-departments wonke ikambe e-County Park Housing Office bahlalele eduze because geographically kayisasebenzeki because of ama-distance and it's a new location elendawo eziningi ezafakwa ama-private developers. Ama-areas lawo alungiswa ngama-private developers yiwo abhesta kakhulu. So I suggest ukuthi kube ama-departments wonke ayevula i-sub-office e-County Park because singabe silokho sidondela khonoko. That's where amanzi amaningi alahleka khona koBulawayo khonapho. You can't compare i-County Park ama-best lamanye amalokishi probable. Amanzi amaningi okumele siwasebenzise koBulawayo yiwo athuthekayo ngayo e-County Park. I used igoji leli ukuthi sizobona ukuthi ungabona sokuvuleka igoji lokuthi izimota zakwanisa ukudlula kusho kule serious what problem. So ngisuggest ukuthi mina njengoBulawayo i-County Park sinkulu asikuvumeni lokho sambeni siyevula i-office yama-departments wonke ngapha e-County Park so that we are respond very fast. Imakuthweni sikhatshana and ikhatshana njalo kuyabungela equipment ekwaneleyo. Sometimes okunye akufuni imota nxa abantu bevele ama-departments la evele ekhona e-County Park eduze they will just walk and go and close probable and instruct ukuthi akwenziwe kanje ku-head of the department. Asikuvumeni ukuthi sambeni siyevula i-office leyana I move a motion ukuthi akwenzakale lokho all the departments zibe khona. Ungaze kube i-finance, ungaze kube people are finding it very difficult ukuthi izinto zi-attend. So that's my suggestion, Your Worship.
Sabonga Councillor Wempofu. Councillor K. Item 3. Yeah. Sorry, item 2. Councillor S. Tole.
Item 2 indaba yamanzi nawathuthela ngike ngakhuluma sometime ngokuthi sicela imota ezahlala em-standby. Bona ngalapho kusihlala sikhuluma every time endaweni ukuthi akula anything eyenziwayo. Khathesi amanzi ahambile ngiripotile ukuthi kule ndawo enje but still amanzi ayethe siyabuya into leyana adingwa. So asizame nini ukuthi kube nemota eyahlalimilela kuphela ukuthi amanzi angadubuka kuphela egijimele khona manje. Ngoba khathesi abantu asilamanzi but amanzi ayadlalisile. Mina bamfonele too much besithi Councillor khathesi asilamanzi but nanka amanzi ayadlalisile. Amanzi ayethe siyabuya futhi akulungiswanga naphana. So koma ngisuggestive laphana ukuthi akube nemota eyahlala iku-24 lokuze lokhu ngapha kudubukile ngo-11 o'clock. And futhi nxa ufona kuphela ukuthi ku-management ukuthi sicela ukuthi lapho bezolungisa abaqeda amafoni. Angayidobha uyathula kumbeza ukuthi ayisehamba ku-TC nedina ngozalitshela ngoba ngilingisengehlile uyangafiki uyangafuni ukuthi sifike to that extent uyayizolungisa. Ngoba khonaphana abantu bayabesikhangela njani ukuthi amanzi awakho kodwa ayadlalisile. Asizameni management ukuthi nxa lathi singalifonela dobhana amafoni sisiphendule whatever even ungasikho kwamanzi kodwa sicela impendulo ezivela kini nxa sathi silifonela kanti sigijimisiwe sesiya ku-TC ukuthi nampa abaqeda amafoni. Ungaphonga ufuna ukuthi TC ngoba abakuresponda khona. Abakuresponda khona apha TC siya ku-TC. Kuze bekufonele ingane ngafuni ukufonela. So ngiyacela sesihamba khona ngapha. Asebenzeni sonke asibambaneni ukusebenzisa
Yes, Councillor Matsana, still on the same item.
Yeah. Opening, I do so but I just want to say communications, generally. I'll just try to generalize. It's not only in relation to the young base, but generally, we are finding it so difficult, especially to the engineering department. Because communication now, department is one of the most difficult when it comes to overturn issues. You know, sometimes Tina as our councillors, we work as a bridge between our residents and council management. And if kungabuya isikhalazo ukuthi ekhala ukuthi sokudukukira amanzi impi yami phakathi kwamanzi kathesi as we speak, and then when you communicate with ilokuzeni, not only ama-base kuphela but general communication with regards to service delivery involve engineering department, we always find it to be very difficult because one, they hardly pick ama-calls. Bengaze bepike ufake i-request, i-response yakhona ukuthi uzuyithole, it takes a lot of effort. I've got a request that I made sometime last week. Up to now, they have not yet been responded to. If only they ring a civil, sometimes you send a message, you online, offline, but they respond to issues. And allow Konarapa residents, we have to give them answers. At the end of the day, when you become what? A failure, just because of lack of response from a certain department. So, Sikela department, especially in terms of communication. And then also the other thing is that there are things that are supposed to be done in terms of the procedure. They are supposed to be done by certain departments. I think it becomes unfair for management to expect us every time an issue, so directors, if we want to that they can delegate in our respective areas. For example, maybe I come from Makweko, it falls maybe under Mautweni. They should just give us the nearest person that we can talk to. Of course, I can make a report, and then I should also have someone that I can talk to. Not to put every item so many phone to direct everything. These people have pants. I think they can actually attend to us faster than bureaucracy and it is to go to director, to go to board before we are to a person who is supposed to attend to that problem. And then the other issue on the issue Yama base. I think as a council, if you are not careful, one of the days we are going to be sued by my residents. I've got an example of a house in the ward where I come from, in Ward 18. Abahlala for more than 3 years, bephakathi kwamanzi kule best pond. Indlu leyana yaze yafika to a point ukuthi amanzi besephuma ngaphansi floor just because of water based. Imagine if that person was going to wake up one day and say, court, are we not going to be embarrassed as a council just failing to come and attend the locals in water base, which was reported several times before I even became councillor. So I think these things we have to take them very, very, very serious. Because one of the days as a council, I lose an anima lesson in life, my residents, because we are failing to attend to some of these problems.
Thank you. That was item 2. What item?
3.
Go ahead.
Ngiyabonga Nkosi. Ngizadlula phezu kwa item 2 ngisiya ku item 3.
Number 3.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Bese ngithi ku chairperson le committee yakhe. Amanzi lana adubuke emagwegwe for a long time. Angazi ukuthi lithi sithini siphendule sithini kuma residents. It's been long, it's been reported, asikwazi ukuthi kuyehlula kumbe kuhamba njani. Ngoba ngenye ibest serious duze emagwegwe reservoir along masiye phambili. I think abantu abaningi bayabona nxa bedlula lapha emgwaqweni. Sensiya ku item 3 Nkosi. Item 3 wawesuka section. Ama challenges abahlangana lawo be-committee beli department. Ngifuna ukuba ngincedisa lapho ukuthi ezinye izinto zilula ngokuthi ku-A lapha nabathe vandalism of manhole. Kulula ngokuthi sincedisane singama councillors. Lisinike information as a committee. Siyenze awareness campaign kuzakhamizi zethu. Sibayazise uqhakatheka kwama manholes. Bakuzwisise ngoba abanye bayebona kuyi-round uhlezi laphana, they don't even know ukuthi kubambe ilokitshi lonke kumbe libambe umphefumulo ongakanani. Lilodwa liyi-committee, liyi-department asoze likwenelise. Mhlawumbe lingabuya lina seli-repair thina lathi sihamba sichumayela ivangeli, kodwa-ke lisincedise nge-information ngoba asiqeqetshanga kulelo department. Bese ngisithi laphana lithi lishoda khona izimota. Sizahlala sikhuluma ngakho kangaka indaba zemota zesuwa. We once suggested, I think kwakuyimi futhi, ukuthi lapho lalithe lina amasuwa abakhona kakhulu nxa kuvulwa amanzi. asuggest ukuthi lina liyakwazi ukuthi ngilake lingaka livula amanzi emagwegwe. Imoto ethile kayihambe iyehlalele emagwegwe. Ukwenzela ukuthi unumber 34/10 emagwegwe maye sithi kule sewer ibe iseduze. Igijime ihle isincedise masinyane. Rather than ukuthi imota isuke emahachula. Ngaleso sikhathi yabe isemahachula igijime iye emagwegwe. Iyabe kusichaya kufuel, kusichaya entweni eziningi lesikhathi. I think i-committee kukhona lapha lani mhlawumbe la ubona umbono wakho na ungekho muhle kumbe ungaqhakathekanga kodwa ke buyani leminye imbono ezayenza sile zimoto ezilutshwana silabantu abalutshwana asisebenzeni ngokukhona khathesi njenge committee yiyo umbono engangicele ukuthi ngasi ngawufaka la selisithi lapha alila lile shortage of human resources. Angazi inkosi your worship last time sake sakhuluma kwake kwaba le report yokuthi uhulumende usevumela ukuthi siqhatshe. Cela nini phela chairperson balincedisa abaqhatshayo libe le manpower. Ngiyabonga nkosi.
Thank you. Any other intervention? Councillor Muinde. Pandwe, sorry.
Problem yesuwa le ngiyananzelela ukuthi each and every corner engihamba khona emalokishini kakhulu ema-western suburbs uzabona kule suwa. Ngithi kuwadi engiyo kuwadi 19 ngizemba ngaba lenhloni bengenisa door by door. Ubona igeleza njengomfula ama-rivers esuwa. Abantwana badlalela lapho. Yazi please ngicela ukuthi siboneni isilo kwesuwa. Ngokuthi singabekelela lokho lemkhuhlane izaba. Ngawusihla ngami sisiya eRobinson. Vela sokuyirivu ukuthi amanzi la ngegeleza afike egcwaleni. Kuyabe kuzimpukwane kuyi. So please let's do something like so.
Councillor Msama, which item?
Item 9.
So welcome indeed. Councillor Maposa before Councillor Maris. Which item?
The same item.
Item 3.
Yes. Your worship. In 2018, when I became a councillor, it was always an issue of issue, and from 2018 up to now is 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, now 24. We are continuously talking about the same thing, and this issue has been always raised before. Even I became a councillor in 2018. In my ward, for example, there are areas that are known, these are hotspots, and they will be talking about them, reporting, sometimes taking management to those areas. But now I think it's almost 7 to 6 years, and nothing has been done to try to sort out those issues. And literally, at some houses, occupants are no longer using the other door because of this sewer challenge. And nothing is being done. I'm praying that one day we wake up and say, we have sorted out this issue, we can now zero in on other issues. But sewer system, Yabona ama interventions that are written pants. I pray that this will come into fruition and we will stop talking about these sewer issues. It is not okay that we always talk about the one same thing, time for more than 10 years, talking about hotspots of sewer as if we don't care. So I think to the committee, take this issue seriously and make sure that these issues are addressed. Moreover, I'm a resident, my phone, they communicate to us and say, Councillor, for how long shall we continue to talk about this issue? It's now 10 years. Are you telling me if council, the whole council cannot come and fix this issue? Then they say, no, councillor law is ineffective. He's not even reporting. It will impact back on us. So I don't know, maybe I'm not schooled in the area of this department. What's so complicated about pipes that it can take 10 years to just make sure that it is being fixed?
Where is just in the Councillor Maposa? For the past 6 years, what has been the response? As from my sewer management EIGHTIETH.
No, they say we are coming. Babe Bashogoze, can't say footy. And it's a challenge that has been always there. Is there no permanent solution to deal with that? I think it is expensive to constantly come to deal with one issue rather than to deal with it once and for all. I think, to me, it's easier. It's less expensive to deal with an issue. Then you know how we dealt with this one, we are moving forward. And I'm not sure what the issue of finances. Some works does not need too much money to say, I will have money so that we can buy these pipes and fix. These are simple issues. To me, it really pains me and challenges me, especially my residents. They will say, no, councillor, one time I was informed, they came at my house to say, no, come, we want you to see what's happening.
Right. Thank you, Councillor Maposa.
So I'm just stressing your worship to say these issues must be dealt with. Don't want to come time and raise some issues for more than 10 years. Yeah.
So, some issues. We take Councillor Mavisa. From there, in the well, Councillor Dove Mavuto and Councillor Span. The Kangela Langa, Zika will be the next. Go ahead, Councillor.
Still on Isua. Your worship, I'm worried me. Try Burom. Isua yana pana songa. Lavantwana, Vesongani, Vitam, La Pavadela Kona, Vatata Kona months. And it's so painful because even the living conditions, I think we need to do something about it now. And I wanted to ask you to council will be because my council would rather see valley renovate. Because all abantwana abachari gates, yabona intambe gates to the months. And abantwana badlalela khona pha. I think for the last month we lost 2 abantwana khona pha. And this why angkhona isukele tongroove. Isehli siyangena kibo khona phana kulomunye umfulo ngani ngumfulo mbewini. Really is so disheartening ma udlula lapha. Ubona abantwana bangikhona abafundi or something. I don't know if we can also come with a plan yokunceda abantu abahlala lapha. But nxa ingekhansi ayayiqaliki valwe renovate because the living conditions there are something else.
Thank you, Councillor Ndovu.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I think when we talk about
still on the same issue.
Yes, same issue.
Okay.
It's quite critical because it has a bearing on people's health, and we need to talk about this one to exhaustion and look at areas where possible interventions should come. Look, I think the issue of sewage chokes, yes, while there may be, the first thing, Your Worship, is that shortage of water and sewerage chokes are Siamese twins. They go hand in glove. That one is recorded. We all know it. But apart from the shortage of water, while there may be engineering designs, defects, while there may be, obsolete pipes that need that have collapsed inwards, as we are always told by our technical experts here, there is a factor which we mustn't run away from. As councillors, we need to self-introspect, be honest with ourselves, and tell each other the truth, do a lot of awareness raising down there. Why am I saying this? I happened to visit a site where a plumbing team was clearing sewer. And guess what? When they were pulling out the material that had choked the pipe, I saw spoons there. I saw small tennis shoes. I saw rags. I saw some pampas, I saw some stones which had gone into the system. And you want to tell me that these things can go into the reticulation system on their own? Certainly not. So it comes back to us to say in every ward feedback meeting, let's make it a monthly feedback meeting item agenda, to say we need to raise awareness amongst the residents, because some of the things which are found in there are foreign bodies which are thrown in there by the human factor. Thank you.
Thank you. What you've just said makes a lot of sense. Councillor Mabuto, before Councillor Swan.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Ndov. You spoke like an engineer. Your Worship, I'm a member of the committee. And this is why I asked for time out, because the team is under attack.
Maybe.
And we should assist.
Sorry, Councillor Mabuto. Maybe you have too long to
Your Worship, because what I'm thinking, Your Worship, is that the same, every councillor is raising the same issue. So I feel that we should respond to save time.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. May I start with the issue which was raised by Councillor Mazana on the fire tenders? We as council, we set and we came up with a resolution. Our resolution was not the Belarus fire tenders. It's on record. You can inspect that resolution. We have got it. We had said to government we want yellow machines, caterpillars, graders to do our roads and everything. But the government forced those fire tenders to us against our council resolution. Our resolution was clear, but well, in terms of authority, they've got power, which is above us. So I wanted to set the record straight there. Now, coming to the issues of best which are happening. Almost every councillor is crying about the best in every ward and everywhere. One of the key issues which we should look at as policymakers, what is the cause of those best? Some of the key points have been picked by Councillor Ndov, well articulated by Councillor Ndov. And you will find that in this season of water crisis, we're going to experience a lot of pests, and we will live with them because of the following reasons. We've got a lot of slag which accumulates in our system. You see, every human waste, it clogs into our system. Imagine what happens. We once, as a city, introduced what we called the big flush, where we're encouraging every resident every morning to just flush the system so that the system is challenging the oil. Those are some of the causes of our pests. Secondly, you will not, Your Worship, that these suburbs, it's ballooning population. You see, the system is no longer able to contain the load. Because when these suburbs were designed, you see, you will know that during the colonial era or in the early 90s, early 80s, there was limited number of people who were supposed to live in the urban area. So it was a controlled system. Imagine that they are in the city. What happens to our system? And at the same time, this then would then ask for us to change, to redo our system, and it costs money. We are a council which is ailing, which is on the financial doldrums, operating on a shoestring budget. I'm sure you're aware of the status of our finances as a city. So it will call upon what you said to do. We need to educate residents. We are told it as singer. It was a Zapaka, the system. Imagine a pump out in Yeti Kukuma in the system. And at the same time, we then come back to the same council and blame the same council. Let's educate our residents. Our system are blocked by our residents. Discourage residents from cultivating along our swallows. We had one culprit in Machoma who went and put a bag of cement in the manhole. So that even water is guarded. You see. So we are all we are bewitching ourselves as a city. Residents must know they must take responsibility and be responsible, to be responsible residents. ukuthi bantu bakithi isuwa siyilondolozeni. You see, in County Park, went up every year, not County Park, Uveve, outbreak of diarrhea, whereby residents are now going to those streams, some are cultivated, eating those vegetables, some of the vegetables are salty. You see, so let's educate in our feedback meetings, let's tell residents the dangers of cultivating along the sewer line. You see, those who are tempering, right now, go to Mpopoma right now, we can go for 2 months without any sewer based. You see, let's educate our residents. You will find that your worship,
Councillor Maveza,
your worship,
I may assist you to go and wait
forgot to
for us
mention this
outside.
also, it causes pipe based, your worship.
Yes.
In Machuane, we investigated what actually is caused that, and we discovered that the design of their toilet, there were those squatting pans, you see. Imagine what happens during the rain season. The sand, water gets into the system. Even you walk into the toilet with your shoes, there's a amount of sand, there's a teaspoon. When you finish bathing, you flush everything into the system. How many houses are in that area? And how much sand gets into our system? So we need to conscientize, we need to educate our residents. You see, it has taken the able leadership of a good councillor to engage residents and talk about these things.
Councillor Mabuto, nxa ungizwile ke ngabuza uCouncillor Maphosa. Esithi kule 6 years, 7 years, 10 years lokho sikhuluma ngento eyi-1. Ase sithi impendulo ibuyisithini. As councillors, fellow councillors, Tina see link between our residents and the council. Tina, we've got privileged information more than our residents. Our residents are sneaking mandate 5 years. Which is why I'm very council. Sibe privileged information. Yiti okumele sibafundise sibatshele kwenzakalayo. But when isikhathi ngiba worried, nxa as councillors lathi sesibuya sikhala njengama residents angela privileged information. Thina kasikhaleni uthiwa ngesishona uthiwa thebona entani. Asikhaleni sinethemba. Ngoba thina sikwi-system, siyayazi i-system esilayo. Ama-system, sorry, I'm the one who is speaking. Zwana councillor, respect. What I'm saying, silelungelo thina, it's our right and privilege as councillors. Ukuthi izakhamizi sizifundise. And siyabe silwazi uhlupho esilwayo. Councillor Mabuto and Councillor Ndlovu, we have explained and assisted a lot. Lathi, as much as we complain of service delivery, we push ukuthi yenzakale. Also, let's conscientize our residents. Councillor Elisbanda, before Councillor Zichka, then I will take more hands.
Zelela kakhulu endabeni yona le eyamasuwa nalathi sky. Mina ngeke ngathathwa ngabomanjinela babhoda lami ewadini yami engakutholayo kuyesabeka kuyayangisa. So sicela ukuthi nxa sibiza ama-meeting kuma-wards, sicela i-department le isinike abantu besithi council labo bazogcizelela bancedise lokho siyabe sikukhuluma about amasuwa labo babafundise ukuthi amasuwa ethu siwalondoloza njani siyizakhamizi. Ngiyabonga.
Councillor Zijga.
Ngiyabonga, Your Worship. Ngifike eKhetha ngo-1987 ya. Eklinika lapha ekhona kulamasuwa ayi-4. Amasuwa lawa 687 ezokweduluka kaqedi wazi amanzi ayisesekhona. Sokuwesikhathi esathi lokhu esinjalo. Izenda udume wani xa kulungiswa leyo. Bengakasuki bayadlula ngemoto. I-complaint yami lapho ukuthi bayadlula bethi leyayikayimpoto. Kufuze ngiyiripote futhi ukuthi bephenduka. Xa bephenduka babuya behlokoza le bayadlula ngoba from eklinika gate ngisiya e-library uphuma 1. Bayeqabeyana. So ngihlala ngisithi ngibona igroup sebethi lowo layela amasuwa. Kuya kuyisuwa ilayini e-1 elama-4 amasuwa wona lawana. Why bengalungisi ka-1 problem yona leyana ukuthi khona nxa belungisa le S2 leyana behle bebambanise konke kuflow nje kuhle. Ngoba amasuwa lawana ayi-4 ahlala every week. It's either ayadubuka. Yabo.
Thank you. Ngicela ukwenza i-ruling yokuthi item 3 is now oversubscribed. May we move to other issues within that committee, within that report. I don't think ukuthi leli pumps izandla lizakhuluma something different from what have been said before. Ungakhuluma something esikhulunyiwe ngizakuhlalisa phansi. Ngizaqala ngokhansela Moyo, ngibuye kuMoyo, ngibuye kuMadzana, ngibuye kuHobe, ngicine ngoMoyo. Ungakhuluma into esikhulunyiwe ngizakuhlalisa phansi. You can't sleep here nge-item eyi-1. Khansela Moyo.
Kodwa akumelanga bathi ukuthi bayehluleka kwamampela. Kule mizamo eminye abangayizami aba-engage ama-nasty students ukuthi ingcekeza liyana nxa sithe yabuthana njengoba singelamandla yikuyini okungenzakala. Ngikhumbula sikhule emakhaya kule zinto ezazithelwa ukuthi i-toilet yehle ngithi so akube lezi indlela eliku-engageayo lingathi sekwehlule asingeneni amanye ama-avenues siyakwazi amanzi awekho so angeke sithi sizahlala lamasuku.
Thank you, Councillor Moyo. Another Councillor Moyo?
Ngiyabonga Nkosi ithuba elithola. Mina ngicela ukuncedisa kakhulu nge-BMC compound. Ngiyafisa mhlonishwa ukuthi ngabe lethuba sike sihambe niyebona isimo sise-BMC. E-BMC lapha la kusebenza ama-toilet ayi-2. Indawo yokulesela abantu abaningi. Ama-toilet amanye wonke vele akungeneki kuyesabeni. Ngicela ukuncediswa nge-BMC. Seke isikhathi bahlala bekhala nge-BMC.
Siyabonga. Councillor Matsana?
Okay, mina ngizakhuluma ngendawo yamasuwa in relation to indawo lezi ezilapho ngama-private developers.
But isisuwa sesikhulumile phela Matsana. I bring different.
No, I'm saying ukuthi with regards to ama-areas which are being done by ama-private developers, not just general amasuwa. Mina bengicela ukuthi maybe if uvuma, I know ukuthi maybe there's a management, there's a follow-up whenever isuwa ingayenzwa ama-private developers. But I've seen this trend ukuthi some of these areas eziyabe zenziwe ngama-private developers. Uyathola ukuthi after maybe a year or two after ilokhu zisenziwe, kuyabe sekulama-perennial issues awesuwa ukuduvuka, and then also kwezinye indawo sometimes kuyabe kungaflash total just because of maybe ama-areas ayabe yenziwe in the process. And I've had a situation in my ward where one of the employees actually confirmed ukuthi no lapha kwenziwa i-error such as an legend, then I don't know what thing that was it drive to kuhamba njani. So bona baye bekwazi ukuthi lapha kwenziwa i-error, but just because maybe akuzange kwenziwa ama-check-ups kwa i-problem leyana yayekelelwe njalo, now sekuyebe sekule problem which is now affecting ama-so. Then also there's an issue, this one is also related to indaba zesuwa, but it's also to do, I don't know whether it falls under town planning, where you find in my ward there's an area where like kwapekwa ama-stands on top of i-road kwakuletara. Now kungaba lesuwa based amanzi akangeke across because itara leyari iphezulu. Itara iseyadini, like uyathola kuletara icrosser yard. Now itara leyana iphezulu and the other also end is also like phezulu. So in terms of isuwa, even ama-drainages, amasuwa cannot flow. Why? Because I don't know how it was designed ukuthi kucine itara isidlula like phambi kwelokhu kwendlu like eyadini isibi. So kunapana I don't know whether it falls under town planning kumbe ku-engineering, but I think it's an issue that I thought it was worth raising.
Thank you, Councillor Moyo, the last speaker on this item. Councillor, what we have spoken on this item. No, you can't repeat. Councillor Emo.
Bekuyi-era Councillor Hall.
Yes. So cool, sorry, I'm the one chairing. I won't give you the opportunity. One explanation is before.
Thank you, Yeah, thank you, Oshib. I think the SOA issue is a very pertinent issue that concerns the city of Bulawayo. And you, as councillors, you are here to provide solutions like you highlighted earlier on. I'm proposing that maybe going forward, since you have got a new department, monitoring and evaluation department, they are supposed to be maybe part of the people who are assisting with the making sure that we have got the right people who are being given the jobs, maybe concerning the post issues that will be taking place in the certain suburbs. Surely you are already overwhelmed, maybe with SWA based, and we can't be giving people jobs who then come and on top of the jobs that the city council is overwhelmed and pile pressure on the city council. So let's give competent people the right jobs. Let's have the monitoring evaluation team also presenting their issues, maybe also to the engineering department maybe at this juncture we need also to change our system, maybe our maybe drawing maps or whatever we call it. We need to now incorporate that maybe if we are doing works as city council, we know that maybe we've got the challenges of pampers and the likes now. Let's have new systems that we are incorporating such that new suburbs that are coming up, they don't have the similar problems that we are already having. So let's change our model, because one speaker says doing something, the same thing over and over again is insanity. We have seen that those pipes, they were built maybe for a small population, and things that we are now using that are passing through those pipes, maybe we have admittedly there are pumpers that are being put there. So let's change the designs. Let's not just come here and just talk about the same thing over and over again. So we need a report going forward that would be speaking to what we have discussed from the engineering department and the new drawing designs, that the works that we are going to be doing in the new suburbs that we are going to develop as council, whether in partnership with other developers or as city council. That's the report that you want to see here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other pressing issue in this report? Right, sorry. Item 7.
7.
Why? But sorry, before you speak, let me explain one thing. Today I am the presiding officer of this council meeting. I should balance the debate with the time. Yes. We are halfway through the meeting and check the time we have taken. Yes. It's within my control today. Accept it. Yes. You might think that I'm harsh, but in Kamele reality, it's cut. Singakhulumi into sekhuluma ngomunye uthi lami ngikhulumi. Ungazama into seqamba into la nxa uyifuna khuluma okunye useceleni ongasela ubeke isandla phansi, you lose nothing. Councillor Kado, item 7.
Ngiyabonga Nkosi, ngizaba mfitshane ngisenzele uhlelo lwakho.
Thank you.
Laphana ku phase 1A egodini, chairperson the committee yakho inanzelela ukuthi engineering department seyasplitwa into 2 departments again. Ukuthi umsebenzi wabo usumlutshwana sebefocusa kahle entweni ilodi yabo abayiphiweyo. Ama lights lana segodini adimu. Ngileqiniso lokuthi sijayele ukukhuluma ngakho and siyananzelela i-overpopulation ekobulawayo. Nxa abantu sebetshayise ebusuku besuka ukuthengisa mbe besuka kuphi sebeyehlela laphana with ama-dim lights, abantu sibafaka engozini yokubanjwa inkunzi. Bese ngisithi i-committee again kuma-holding bays laphana seli-improvile kancane ngokuthi amakhomba ngapha asele order. So kusele lawa armor on your right side. I'm proposing chairperson the committee ukuthi engage the relevant associations. Ngiyakwazi ukuthi laphana bangena ama-association. Engage the relevant associations. Kube le order ukwenza ukuthi umuntu ahambe kuhle kuBhathi Street. Le moto ezingenayo leziphumayo kufanele ukuthi imota iphuma nzima ngalezi yane zabe zixokozela zifuna ukungena. Ngiyabonga Nkosi.
Thank you. Mhlanga item 8. 9. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. The chairperson of engineering committee, if you recall, in November, council, I once requested you and your respected committee and department to tour Country Park and at least appreciate the situation on the ground with respect to our roads. But this is 2024. Chuti njoba sita akula mali council nchita la mali kutoa the Country Park. That is what we are saying, just to appreciate the situation our roads. Ngisakho lapho futhi ngama roads e Country Park, you know ukuthi e Country Park it's a new setup. Akula third road. I've requested a number of times through the department, the new department here works, and through the call center, with at least the inhlabathi. Ukwaya uhambi, but ukaya sikhulumela sodwa. Akula muntu onjani usizwa chairperson le department yakho uyayihluleka. I want to hide that. There's a flag because since 2023 November up to today,
sesingena kwi-April 3 April we haven't acted on our request as counterpart. Then August 2 ngizakhomba uRuveve. Okunzima ukuthi liqede uRuveve phambi kwe-engine garage laphana yini. Look at the congestion that is there. Libamba lapha, chuthi imchina liye lapha, libamba lapha liyaqhamaza likhaya empilweni. Yenzani one thing great. Chairperson, awuzama ukudonsa amasuku sakho, otherwise nazathi committee yakho le department yakho vele ngcono dissolve.
Thanks, Councillor Mtama. Councillor Maliza.
Item 11.
Item 11 before.
Item 9.
What about the first, then more second?
Ama-pavements, ama-companies ebhala fiber. So bachiya kunjalo bakhona ukugqibela basalungisa njengoba sikhala ukuthi infrastructure kumele kuhlale kukuhle. So sithini as a committee nxa bechiya begedile bengalungisanga kuhle.
Thanks, Councillor Nyati. Straight to the point, very short.
Item 9, table 1.4.
Go ahead, Councillor.
Retention project. Benisithi ku-committee ngiyenanzelela ukuthi liyasiplanela lesicela ukuthi silama-project esafakayo we-ward retention ukuthi liqale liwaqedise silama-pending projects angaphelanga lingasifakeli ama-suggestion enu ngoba imali liyana ngezakhamisi siyabe sibavuze.
Thank you, Councillor Mabeza. Before Moyo. What item, Mabeza? Go ahead.
Item 9.
Oh, item 9. Well done. Councillor Moyo.
Thank you, Worship. Item 9.
Yes.
Maybe live in the different areas, you are very passionate talking about the roads, but where I live in Nemkani, councillor, that you can attest that there are efforts that are being made, and I've moved around the area. The road was done. Then there is another road near Monarch that was done today when I was coming to town. The Blank Road is being done. So I'm seeing some positives in this department, and we are grateful for the job that is being done. So, but also what gives me hope is you've been saying that you are supposed to be disruptive. Recently, councillors passed a resolution where you're engaging partners that you are supposed to be having a patching plant for the city of Bulawayo. All these roads will be fixed. It's giving me hope that it's just a matter of time when everything, paperwork is finalized, when the city council has got its own patching plant, the roads are going to be maintained. And it has always been the desire for the residents to make sure that the roads are rehabilitated using the local crew. Because I'm grateful even from the chamber secretary when we were talking, when we were receiving some fire tenders. I told her that she's doing a good job because at the end of the day, if you've got fire tenders, whether donated or what, those are the disruptive measures that you are always alluding to. So this department is now on the right trajectory, and I've got no doubt that in the coming few months, the roads where you are supposed to be getting money from Zinara, now we are not just coming and saying, it's just Zinara give us money, but we are doing something. The people who elect us, they elect us not to just come here, sit down and say, the country doesn't have money, but they expect us to provide solutions. Those disruptive measures are the things that people want from us, councillors, management and staff. Thank you so much.
Councillor Mabeza. What item is that?
I want to the same item.
Same item. Okay, let's hope we won't say anything. It's a kulunye. Sugumukulu. I go avoid.
Thank you, Worship.
Yes.
I'm very good.
I Kuluma, I victimize. Why can't I victimize? Kuluma. Yes. Exactly. Yes.
But I think my councillor Mshana will misquoted a bit. Kabuch would appreciate. He emphasized
on an area elama challenges amakhulu ukuthi akulathara akulana So kula challenges kunafana ukuthi kumuveke emgwaqweni. The department is trying because he came sometime when we was coming to he knows our points. So he's requesting umhlanga ulama points alama challenges. That's why any gravel because the way the rate the area dilapidates in road more than in down so we still clarify on that.
Yeah. Thank you. Councillor Mabeza.
Thank you.
Yes.
Item
11.
Item 11.
Thank you.
11, traffic control and safety.
Yes.
When I'm doing my school run in the morning,
Yes.
when I'm using Bedside Road, I don't know what the Bedside but the accidents amaningi lapha intersection yana eka Cecil nxa Bedside is it we need ama solar robots lapha because everything in the morning then ku Cecil nxa udlula ngalapho kule space khona ngiliyenda ngasimbani nxa uhamba khona pha that road is narrow ithi narrow injalo kuma edges kulama potholes so imota nxa ziphambana lapha oyi-one kumele ayeqele komunye omunye so kuba le speed khona pha then when you try to run away from this road you use le efazakhe kusisiwe futhi ema-reporting lana laphana kulokusengingajoshua nkomo ama-robots angikhona la atshone engasebenzi and there are always accidents also every day and ama-residents ka-Ward 4 ku-group ka-Ward 4 they are always talking about ama-robots lana because they've claimed so many lives. So angazi ukuthi if it's possible we put ama-solar robots in, ama-solar lights in those robots.
Thank you, Councillor Mabeza. Sorry? 11. No, we are in item 12, my brother. I'm sorry. Councillor Moyo? Oh, go ahead, Zijka. You may send that thing. No, you are 124. Go ahead.
Sorry, I think what you are doing now, since in Kura, more portraits, but I want to say that what I'm going
we need robots.
From second. Oh, right, yes.
Thank you. Councillor Moyo. Go ahead.
Siyabonga ngiyabona lapha kuma-service ngokuphela ndaba West Phumula South ama-residential stand Bulawayo yakhula into enje. Mina umbuzo wami ukuthi nxa ngikhangela ukukhula kunje labana abantu abathenga ama-stands eSimakokweni balohlupho abantu abana bayakhala ikhansili kayikhangile ngoba le ndawo lapho ababeka khona kuphezulu kwedwala angiboni ukuthi umuntu ozafa wasebenzisa lapha. So abantu labana babhadala cash imali zabo and nxa sibaphendula ngama-courts sibaphendula ukuthi iminyaka isiningi abantu labalimanyela bayithola nzima simele sibahlonele.
Any other intervention in this report? Ngakanika committee bavale siye committee.
Item 20.
Go ahead.
Item 20 ngozi. Thina sihlala indawo ele degradation isentuthu. Kunohlupho lokuthi ilokuthi lethu abantu kakhulu inhlabathi. Kodwa kureport lapha nginanzelele ukuthi i-enforcement department le ayingitshayela ihlombe nginike 50 tickets idlula bengeke abanike 9. Kodwa bathe behamba ngenyawo bale moto yona. So ngicela ikhangele i-department ngokuyaza. Then ngibe sengikhuluma ngokuthi izakhamizi zikhulume kabanzi ukuthi zifisa ukuthi indaba lesentuthu phezulu amagodi lana semaningi kakhulu endayingozi kuzakhamizi. Ukuthi ke besuggest ukuthi before inspector anikeze abantu approve izakhiwo zabo abantu kabamele baproduce ukuthi inhlabathi bayithenge ngaphi ngoba yithi sithengisa inhlabathi siyicancel. So ngoba isentuthu ngasoziyekeli Bulawayo yakhula elikhula ngabantu abatshontsha inhlabathi So ukuthi abantu labana bengathontshi inhlabathi akube nama-measures ku-inspector lapho ukuthi umuntu engaka-approve kahle athenge inhlabathi ekhansini. Njalo basuggestile ukuthi bacela ukuthi khona kube le-operation uthenge ngaphi inhlabathi kusiya ngesikhathi. Kulenhlabathi eziningi ezikumakhapha. Kulenhlabathi eziningi ezisezinhle. Azilandelele uyithenge ngaphi baphiwa amathikithi bazithathele inhlabathi leziyana. I-sand portion ayisoziphelezi lo ngisinga-enforce. And i-department yanakekela incedise ngezimoto. Igijima ngenyawo ibophe abantu benhlabathi.
Siyabonga Councillor Esimoyo. Ngingakanika abe-department for a brief comment. Kukhulunywa ngama-fire tenders. Bengifisa ukuthi ngicloser le section ye-department le. Ngitsho ukuthi ma-councillors ledolobho lakoBulawayo kumele sibonge si-appreciate kule-organization okuthiwa yi-Operation Florian e-United Kingdom. Isidonethele 3 fire tenders and other safety equipment worth over $1 million. Bengicela sibabonge kakhulu sibachayele izandla. Thank you so much. Then ngicela omele department briefly nxa kulama issues but nxa ngekho we move to the next annex. Chairperson, do you want to comment?
Yes, ngivumele ngikhulume ngesintu bakithi ukuze ukhulume kahle ngifuna ukuphendula. Ngiyaqotha ivoice yami ngani phansi kodwa ngizazama ukuphendula mbijana. Ngizaqala ingakakhohlwa uCouncillor uMhlanga ayisikho ukuthi siyabe sibamba lapha lalapha nasitshiya kuluveze road. Imigwaqo ilungiswa in stages. So esinye stage ngasingakabi le mali yaso ukuthi maybe sithi kulo base A lo base B lo base C. Ngasingakabi le mali ka base maybe C for one portion of the road. We cannot continue. We cannot just leave that either lokuze I-IGHTIETH sisithi hayi samelele imali yangami. And futhi imali leyana ivela ezinara nxa izinara ingaka release ama funds. There's no way we can continue siqedisa umgwaqo lwana ngoba as BCC kathe sithi na we are cash constrained. Then ngibuye futhi kuwe Councillor Mhlanga lo Councillor uHobe angazi ngeke lihlala ukhathi package yene ngibona uCouncillor uHobe ngani appreciate ukuthi imgwaqo ilungisa kuhle ulokhu zenini
Chairperson, address the chair of this meeting, not individuals.
Sorry, Your Worship. Thank you. Okay. Ngibuyela imbuzo ibe mningi kakhulu ibe mningi imbuzo
yakho. This comment uhlanisela konke ungabe particular one.
But kunenganyana bijana. On the issue of ama-sewers, okay, ngicela ngivumele ukuthi khona ilokhu zelini we have since received a go-ahead from ESP OC to engage ama-sewer contractors from next week. Lizanazele ukuthi khona why kwesinye isikhathi siba lama-sewer chokes lama-sewer based kwesinye isikhathi just like road designs. Sewer designs are designed for a specific period of years. So most of our sewers have gone past their design life. So in English they say a chain is as strong as its weakest link. So noma kwesisikhathi singafaka amanye ama-pipe kwezindawo kodwa sikambe siphetshela sitshiya still we are going to have ama-sewer chokes lama-sewer base khona phana kwamalo kuzenini okudala lapho esiyabe sithe khona singafaka khona ama-pipe amatsha. So kahle we need funding, we need, like what Councillor Mpumi was saying, we need to partner with other partners so that they may do a complete overhaul of the sewer reticulation system in most of the old suburbs. Then going to issue yamanzi erejwe nguCouncillor Mahlangu, you will note that on weekends we have standby teams. So it won't be, they won't be fully fledged teams, like just like part one, part one. And why at times they delay these people is because we don't have the capacity to pay, you know, with the name overtime. Because so for us to pay overtime, I see like we don't have that capacity as a council. Then going ahead, Silama Bulomi council saying quality umbani. Why can't we decentralize ukuthi kube le motor ngapha eziyasevisa ngapha kube le car park ama substation. We are already decentralized. Sile town, sile Mkhulumane, sile Mabuthweni, sile car park. So amanye ama-base ayenzakala kusuku like what I said, your worship. I think izagcina lapha for now.
Thank you so much. What should we do to the report? Move. Thank you. We go to Annex E. Townlands, Chairperson, Councillor Net.
Your worship, my fellow councillors, members of staff, and stakeholders, I move that the report of the Townlands and Planning Committee meeting held on the 19th of March 2024 as submitted be received and the various recommendations contained therein be adopted.
Thank you. And seconder from the same committee. Yes. Thank you. Any issues or matters arising from the report? Councillor Mabuto.
Move the report, Your Worship.
Thank you. We move to the next annexure F. General Purposes Committee. I move that the report of the General Purposes Committee meeting held on the 25th of March 2024 as submitted be received and the various recommendations contained therein be adopted. Any seconder from the same committee? Thank you. Any issues with the report? Thank you. We go to the last report, Annexure F, Annexure G, Finance and Development Committee. Chairperson, Councillor Moyo.
I move that the board of Finance and Development Committee held on the 26th of March 2024 as submitted be received and the various recommendations contained therein be adopted.
Any seconder from the same committee? Thank you. Any contributions? Councillor Rindani Adrian Moyo. Which item? Item 8. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Your Worship, as Ward 2 Councillor, I know for a fact that Mr. Ndlovu's home in Harrisburg was damaged by flooding due to inadequate drainage systems, causing significant property damage which borders on council negligence.
Yes.
The flooding led to adverse health effects on Mr. Ndlovu's children who developed asthma due to continuous exposure to a moist environment, and he himself has been in and out of hospital due to stress-related conditions as council has been dilly-dallying on compensating him. My other concern is that the information used for the compensation decision may have been concealed or inadequately considered, warranting a revaluation of the compensation value. I therefore propose that in addition to monetary compensation, Mr. Ndlovu should be given a piece of land to build his property anew based on the precedents set before, where people are also compensated for their household properties. I thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. What are we saying? Yeah, who is seconding him? Show by lifting up your hand. Councillor M1. You heard him. That is strong in proper English now. When it comes to English. Thank you. Now, what should we do to the report? Move. Thank you so much. I therefore. Sorry. There is just a panel presiding office. Don't play into the jaws of the crocodile. Awungitsheli mina ngisebekhulumile savala. Sorry. At this juncture, may I receive the application for leave from councillors. Ofuna ukuya leave angatsho. Thank you. Ngayengekho. This meeting is therefore adjourned, and may we all meet in council committee. I thank you.